Great. Thank you so much for coming in on a Sunday evening. I know that all of you are having, being Sunday. I'm sure you had a lot of plans to go out to restaurants, to malls, to theaters, and it's so nice of you to take time off and stay at home. I'm just kidding. We have no option. So let's take the first question. If we take a simple story like Party Vadai Sutta Kadai, what will be the challenges? Actually, the challenges will not be much. It's quite a interesting story. It's very visual. It's got a lot of action in it. There's a party, and then there is a vadai being sutified, and then there is a kaka who's trying to take the vadai. So it's a very cinematic uh, story. Actually, there won't be many challenges to make that. Your challenge would be to um, your challenge would be to make that into a feature film, certainly, but actually, Party Vadai Sutta Kadai is one of the most cinematic. I mean, imagine somebody like James Cameron or Rajamouli shooting that, right? I'd suppose you'd have like this huge backstory for the crow. You'll have an equally epic backstory for the granny, where probably she was a ninja warrior, and then maybe the Vadai is a code to something. So you can just go wild with it. Yeah. So I think challenges. It's a great story. It's a great start. We can go wild with it. Okay, next question. Yeah, that's Srikanth.
I understand that the whole writing process itself can be a huge investment. But just before you write or you start writing, does it ever affect or come into your mind whether, shit, what if this film has already been made somewhere?
I think yes, certainly the fear is always there, because if you're having a unique idea, that's a sure shot way of capturing your audience attention today. There were in recent past in Bollywood, there were three movies based on the same concept of
Correct.
bald-headedness, right? There was Bala, there was Ronkesh, and then there was Ujra Chaman. So all three movies were variously different, and then there was already Undu Moteya Katha, which is there in Kannada. Trust me, as long as you make your story as uniquely possible, it will still hold water. Like there were so many films on Bhagat Singh, right? And each one found its own audience. So I think it's more than the core idea. If there is a conflict, then it depends on your treatment of it, your screenplay, your characters, what is the weightage you're giving to it. We've had n number of love stories, but still Alai Paide is a love story that we all like.
I still feel like, am I ready to go, or have I missed something because I've not watched the filmmakers who inspired the contemporaries from whom I'm inspired?
When I went into film school, I had made about 5 or 6 short films before that. But once I went into film school, I became very conscious of my lack of knowledge about cinema as one, as if I felt like
Yeah.
a complete failure in life.
Mm.
So that is very natural. But I think there is a difference between a guy who keeps reading and watching an other person's creation and a person who actually creates stuff. Now, we are both, right?
Yeah.
We are also creators, but we also read. So find your unique balance. Of course, the more you read, but reading and learning is a never-ending process. Like some of the stuff, some of the stuff which I'm learning and reading right now was actually recommended to me during my film school, which I didn't understand a word of. It's only now after doing 3 films, 2 feature and 1 non-feature, that I understood what questions to even ask. So I think don't get bogged down by it too much. Certainly, if you love something, follow that. Follow your heart and watch something. This is supposed to be fun. Even your learning has to be fun. So don't learn something because of peer pressure, or don't go and watch something to sound cool. That's the worst form of the worst form of thing that you can do. Just follow your heart, while by all means watch what you feel like watching, whether it's today, yesterday. I mean, I have learned so much from Amar Chitra Katha comics. I have learned so much from Spielberg. I learned so much from Kaundamani Senthil jokes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I learn every day. I learn so much of humor from Vadivelu, for example, right?
Yeah.
As much as I learn from Peter Sellers. There is absolutely no class difference or elitism in any of this. Why is it so difficult? I think creating something is always very difficult. Destroying, breaking things down, criticizing, critiquing, these are far easier. To create something out of nothing is alchemy, is magic. It's the very birth of life. So it will be difficult. It cannot be easy. For some, of course, it pours forth like a torrential force. Like, for example, Ilayaraja, when he makes his music, one wonders if he's got some direct connection to God, or whatever you call it. Then when you look at, let's say, a volume, or like a prodigious writer like P.G. Woodhouse, or somebody like Sujata here, you wonder if these guys have some Wi-Fi high bandwidth connection. Yes, most of us struggle through it. I struggle through it. We all struggle through it. We're not as gifted. So yes, it is going to be tough. It has to be tough.
So the one is the visual index cards. So I read through your script, which is fantastic, and the other is the visual index cards that you had created. It's very interesting that that you had created. Was that for was that your beat sheet that was converted to an visual index card, or was it just for pitching to the producers?
It was my original beat sheet, and then I tried to email it to my producers, and then they were nice enough or impatient enough to say that I'm not going to read through 30 pages of just blank text. Why don't you make it more interesting for me by keeping some visuals? And it'll also help you to visualize. I said, hey, that's great. So over a Saturday and Sunday, I actually sat and made those visual index cards, which really helped me a lot, because I could
so that
see
was
kind
after
of,
you created this script.
yeah, only after. It was only after I created the beat sheet. I just copy pasted that beat sheet into the visual index card. But of course, while doing the visual index card, I did realize few things, and I made a few edits here and there. So it was actually, visual index cards are a hugely helpful and a very important way of structuring a screenplay.
And was your beat sheet based out of the Save the Cat structure? Did you use that, or?
Save the Cat is a book I have not read actually, but I followed. Sid Field was my guiding force. It's
Okay.
right here. So this particular book, I brought all my books today. So this book was like my Bible, Gita, Quran, whatever you call it, right? So this Sid Field's book was my guide. So you have, I recommend this highly to people. So you have this particular, this structure, right, which he calls the paradigm. So this
Okay.
structure of, this got burnt into my head about 10 years ago when I was reading it. So this really, really helps, because otherwise what you're doing is you're writing the Mahabharata, Ramayana, and then you don't know. So you get so lost where to begin, you know. So this at
Got
least
it.
gives you like an overall, like you put the foundation first, then you put the pillar, then you put the walls, finally put the paint. It gives you a certain algorithm to follow.
So my second question, I'll make this quick. So if I have an idea about, suppose an undercover cop, right? I have a good plot, and I have it in my mind. But so suppose I'm in the US and the story is happening in India, and I can just write the whole story based upon whatever I have learned about undercover cops, either from the movies that I watched or the things that I've read, maybe some reference material. Would that suffice? Would that, or would I not be doing justice by not talking to any real undercover cop in India, not doing the actual research? Would all the research be from films and books suffice for making a film? So that's my second question. I'll go on mute.
Wonderful, wonderful question. See, we limit ourselves on two fronts, which is, one is our ability to write, which is a huge limitation for all of us. The other is our own world in which we are born, right? So, for example, this is a wonderful question, because I would suggest you do both. Like, if it's too much of a problem, you're not able to meet any cop. Like, for example, now it's coronavirus time. You just write what you know, but always keep in mind that there will have to come a lot of research. The best thing to do, I would say, is before you start writing, you do some amount of overall research to understand few things, and then once you start writing, keep researching, calling up things. So research is of two kinds. One is a research towards a human character perspective and world perspective, which is more broad based, and then you do research which is post writing a script. You go and get research done for your minutiae, like small little things in the scene. You get all those procedurals corrected. So in Undercover Cop, certainly if you're not born into a family of undercover cops or stuff like that, you will have to do a lot of research, but nothing prevents you from doing a 10-pager, for example, to get the plot, to get the concept, to get the overall story as a start. I don't think you need to worry about that.
Got it.
Next
Thank
question.
you.